Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Friday and welcome to Daily Dose.
And the last day of April.
Yes. Amazingly, and basically the last day of your semester almost. Almost.
Almost.
Not the last day of my job. The downside to leaving school is jobs don't end. You don't get summer break in real jobs. You know what I mean. You have a real job, but non-academic jobs. Way to cover. So we're wrapping up a great week. Let's first say thank you to Mike Soika for joining us yesterday. That was a really powerful and vulnerable conversation, and so we just really appreciate his
absolutely.
sharing that with us.
They're hard, these conversations, actually, but
they are hard.
But they're supposed to be, I guess. Well, you know, life is hard, and so's sobriety if you're suffering from an addiction.
Well, and learning is hard. Learning and growing and changing and admitting when you're wrong, and all of those things are pieces that we all struggle with in various ways, forms, and capacities. So the fact that we get people who are willing to come on and reveal things that many people would never, ever be willing to talk about is really an honor that we do not take lightly. And so we just extend our heartfelt thanks to Mike and send him our best wishes. So let's wrap up the week. First, we read about Belle, the sweetest little mule. And I brought the other books. I told you on Monday that my aunt sent 3 books. So this is Stitchin' and Pullin', which is specific to the quilts. And I want to show you, like here, I want to show you an image before we go into the question. So here's a close-up illustration of this quilt. And then she also sent me this book, The Quilts of Gee's Bend. And I want to show you the actual image of the quilt. Here. No, that's not it. Sorry. Here. Here's an actual professional photo of the quilt.
Wow.
So it gives you a chance. I look at this image of this little girl learning with her older sister or mother, or I'm not sure who, but really and truly, if you have not looked into this art form, these women, please do yourself a favor. Gee's Bend, G-E-E'(S) Bend. But we can only hope that our dog barks at the top of the stairs for the entire time of Daily Dose today.
She might.
So let's get to the questions at hand. In Belle the Last Mule at Gee's Bend, Dr. Mary and I, and you, many of you, learned about something of great historical importance that we had never known anything about. What stories in your life have been left out of your history? I think, we are only really very recently coming into a community-wide, global-wide understanding that it's not just white, powerful men's stories that have value to history and to life. Everybody's story has value. Everybody plays their part, contributes their piece to the fabric of humanity. How are you telling your story, and what little seemingly insignificant pieces, like a little mule from a tiny little backwoods part of the nation, in so many ways she doesn't matter at all, but in many, many more ways she has tremendous significance, as do each of us. So just be thinking about how you are telling your story. If you've got children and grandchildren, what do they know about your childhood, your experiences, your opportunities and lack thereof? I think it's really important to document them clearly, or I wouldn't be blogging the way that I am. Very few people can be in question as to many of my stories, but it is my way to mark my time on Earth and our way to mark our time too.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add to that?
It's also a fantastic example of how to tell a story that doesn't involve hating somebody. It's just a fantastic little story that had no other message, and here's something you should know about this mule.
Absolutely. Well, and then, of course, this incredible overlay of
Yeah.
civil rights.
Well, yeah, obviously. Shouldn't. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes. Let's not dismiss that. But that's what I mean. It was also an advocacy of civil rights with a no hate message. It was just a lovely story, and that's what we should all be doing.
Yep. Oh, Lillian.
You asked the next question. I'm going to go get the dog.
Okay. The book 5 Wishes by Gay Hendrickson asks us to go forward to our deathbed and consider if our lives were a complete success. If you said no, then your job is to fill in 5 sentences. My life was not a complete success because I didn't what? And you might remember that Dr. Mary's were everything from I didn't stop drinking sooner, I didn't listen to my inner voice, I didn't hold up meaningful friendships. And then I joked about I didn't eat enough dessert. You know, so it's everything from very, very small and fleeting joy to very, very significant things. Allow yourself to explore that, because once you've done that, then shift to, for my life to have been a complete success, I wish I'd what? Eaten more dessert, stayed connected to important people, listened to my inner voice, whatever it is. And then finally, my life is a complete success because I'm now eating more dessert, listening to my inner voice, living a sober life, staying connected to people who are important to me. It gives you an immediacy to changing your end-of-life regrets. Doesn't mean you won't have other regrets, but these will not be your regrets if you shift them now and make them actions that you do from here to the end. I love that.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept, actually.
It's really powerful, and reminds us that limiting beliefs are just beliefs. They are not truisms. So get over them. Get past them. If you stall the car at a green light, you're driving a stick shift, and the car behind you starts to honk, can you be okay with just letting them honk? So I'm going to give you 2 examples. We told you that I actually sort of learned to drive a stick shift 6 years ago. And shortly after I learned it, Quinn and I were in his car. We'd come off the interstate. I was driving, so a stick shift car. I was driving. We'd come off the interstate. We were at a stoplight. The light turned green. I put the car into first, went to go, and killed the car, stalled the car, like 6 times in a row. And there was this long backup behind me, and Quinn was getting frustrated because Quinn is very definitely my child. That is a piece that you tried to instill in him. Sadly, we didn't do a very good job of that. And
There's a powerful gene in there somewhere.
I said, "That's it!" And I got out of the car, and Quinn said to me, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Get out of the car and drive this car." And the beeping and the honking, and I was sweating, and I was furious.
It's a wonderful thing when apples don't actually fall too far, but sometimes you wish they could have rolled just a little, just a tiny bit further.
So he got out of the car and he drove us home. Yesterday, I drove us to the mall. I had a meeting.
And you did fine.
I got to a red light, stopped the car. Light turned green, went to start the car, killed the car. Meep, meep. I wanted to just get out of the car right now. Drive the car, be done. But I didn't.
Because you're awesome.
I don't know. I did get a little sweaty. I wanted to get sweary, but I don't think I did even.
You did not. You handled yourself fantastically.
I started the car after one time and I drove on. And guess what? The woman behind me who meeped at me also was going to the mall. She didn't get out of the car and come at me and punch me in the face. She didn't say anything to me.
Exactly.
So again, she may have been honking to say, in case you didn't notice, the light is green. It might have been a friendly honk. I've always said we should have a friendly honk and an angry honk, because all honks sound the same. And because we assume everyone's thinking about us, we assume that they're thinking, what in the hell is the matter with you? Drive your damn car. She may not have been thinking that at all.
That actually explains what's fundamentally wrong with Facebook.
Say more, please.
You have a like button. And that's it. There's not a like. No one ever writes, oh, that's not a good thing to say. There's no button for that.
Well, there's a wow.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
It's not as powerful as that.
There might need to be a cringe. Or a, really? Really? Did you think through that?
Or something that just says, dude. No.
Maybe. We'll see if we can't get Mr. Zuckerberg working right on that. I'll check in with him after this. But the point of this story is, where can you apply that same logic to your life?
Never worry about what's behind you. It's there.
It may not even be as judgmental or as angry or as impatient as you think it is, which means you might try something new and not do very well, and you will be racked with the assumption that everybody is judging you or thinking poorly of you or talking about you behind your back. Some might be, certainly, but many likely will not.
The state you get yourself into only makes it worse for you.
It's true. It's very, very true.
Actually, and I know a lot of people have said that when, especially first trying to battle an addiction, it's the fear of what other people you think are behind you judging you that ultimately makes some people fail. So the whole point of that was never worry about what's behind you.
Or what you think is coming at you from other people. If you can be okay with yourself, then that should be enough. It rarely is. Don't hear me saying that, oh no, it's always, I don't care what other people think. I often don't care what other people think, but I do not like to be honked at when I'm working so hard to learn a new skill. So just figure out where you can apply that. So Mike joined us to talk about his own addiction journey and the work he does as a coach. Perhaps the most powerful thing I heard Mike say was, I would prefer to err on the side of forgiveness versus worrying if I'm enabling. Are there people in your life where you need to stop judging because you see it as enabling and instead just offer support and forgiveness and another chance? So I've been thinking about this a lot because in our case, it's very easy for me to say, oh, just offer a hand up, an ear to listen, a shoulder to cry on. Because I've to date only had to do it once. Maz got sober once. You've heard me say a lot that one of the most alarming things I heard when I was with Maz and his rehab group while he was inpatient was, hi, I'm so-and-so. This is my 5th time in rehab. I'm so-and-so. This is my 7th time. This is my 9th time. The number of failed attempts to stay sober, every single person in that circle except this man was back. Nobody was back for their 2nd time. They were back for no fewer than 4 or more times.
And they were back because they wanted to be back, not because they were told they had to go back.
Yeah,
they were really trying.
They were really trying after so much failure. And what I thought sitting in that circle, hoping my face didn't betray it, was, oh my God, I can't do this over and over and over again. I can't rise with him, see success, experience him in his present brilliant self, and go back to what I know we would go back to. So I don't feel like I am qualified to say, oh, just keep doing it. I had to do it once. So I don't say that this was moving to me with any, like, oh no, it's easy. It wasn't easy to do it once, and it would be devastating.
It would.
For both of us.
Yeah, just to do that more than once is just, I can't even think about it, to be honest.
I can't think about it either. So if you have been on this journey with someone in your life, or you are the person who has been the cause of other people having to be on the journey, I don't pretend that I understand you or you either, really.
Well, if you want to mix analogies, it's like if you keep stalling the car,
Yeah,
all you can do is restart it if you can.
but it's hard. It's hard. So if you can continue to err on the side of forgiveness, I think that's the thing to do. But at some point, you may have to also say, enough. I've done what I can do. And then you have to forgive yourself for giving up, because that is okay too. But there's no easy answers. And it would be so great. That parable really struck me yesterday. If Jesus would have just said yes 7 times. So keep a little notebook and make a check every time you have to forgive this person. And then when you get to 7, you can say, well, that is the statute of my forgiveness limitations. Godspeed and tootle along. That isn't how life works. So for some people, you might not be able to forgive more than once. And other people, you might be asked to forgive over and over and over again. That is really only can be decided by you. But yes, the stalling car is a good analogy for that. All right, last question. Consider how you're using the word addiction and determine to stop using it from a place of judgment or casually, because that's not the true meaning of addiction, and to throw it around demeans the very real disruption and damage that it causes. So where do you need to stop saying, I'm addicted to things that you are not addicted to? Or you might really enjoy them and they might be incredibly powerful in your life, but they're not damaging your relationships. They're not ruining your health or your mental well-being. You know, am I addicted to reading? I might be.
No, you thoroughly enjoy reading.
But I would become a very different person if suddenly books were no longer available to me. So that may be true, but they're not damaging my physical and mental well-being. They're not ruining my relationship. To go back to something you've said a lot, you don't say to me, Dee Dee, you want to go for a walk? And I say to you, no, I'm reading. I'm not allowing reading to interrupt
that's
my
part
life.
of an addiction. If your life stops because you want to do something, that's the key thing.
So just be mindful of how you use the word, because for people who truly get up every day and choose to not give into a very real addiction, it's disrespectful. It's not unlike if Maz and I were to say, we know how it is for black and brown people. We came from poor houses and we've had to work hard.
Yeah, no idea. It's
No earthly idea. And we did come from poor households in a lot of ways. You're a first generation college graduate. You have a lot of understanding of a new experience that you did not have anyone to lean on for advice. Doesn't matter. You're a white European educated male. Doesn't dismiss our experiences, but we can't pretend that we understand that in the truest sense of the word.
That's the biggest problem with a civil rights movement. It's white, highly educated people who don't do anything about it because they sit there quite calmly thinking, it can't be that bad, it's got nothing to do with me. Or their life is fine, so they're not that interested in getting involved in something that will actually make them question everything they've probably
Their own
done
power
with
structure.
their entire life.
Yep.
That's the key to that.
Yep. And the same is true of an addiction journey.
Yeah.
You can't really understand it till you've lived with it, around it, or through it. And so it's hard to be sympathetic or empathetic about it until it's been your experience.
And someone said to me, a couple of people said this to me a few years ago, and the more I think about it, I just have to qualify this. I'm not a psychologist, a psychiatrist, or a trained counsellor in any way, shape, or form.
Although let's not forget that Betsy Birmingham, our guest on New Year's Eve morning, did once tell people that Maz was a plant psychologist, which was my favorite thing I've ever heard.
There's probably a niche there. I could probably make some. Anyway.
Wrap it up, Dr. Mary. I'm sorry. You're not a trained person. We're talking about addiction. Did I ruin your train
I
of thought?
forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry. Really sorry.
What
But
were you going to say before? What did you say last before that?
I don't know. It's time to wrap up.
Damn,
We're
totally.
4 minutes past.
I'll tell you Monday if I remember. It was
Have
good.
have a great, great weekend. Enjoy the nice weather. Spring is coming. Celebrate the little things in life and be aware of how you use language, because people around you might be really suffering with things that you casually throw around.
Enjoy May Day tomorrow.
Yes, my favorite holiday of the whole year.
Which is odd, especially if you're an American, to celebrate May Day.
Might be. It's all right.
All to do with the Russian Revolution and all.
It's true. I like the flowers and candy part. We'll talk to you on Monday. Bye.
Bye.